Yo, you just nasty.
Now, I'm not saying I'm gonna watch it. I just think that the video should be made public so that we can judge for ourselves should we choose to do so.
Who's we? Because I'm not involved in this. Why are you pointing at me?
Journalists demand that in the interest.
That's fine. Are you gonna watch it?
Are there gonna be like blurred parts?
Are you going to find out?
The truth must be the lantern that I follow into the darkness, and so, yeah, probably. First name, though, Russell Westbrook. Bomani. Russ and the Thunder are now down 0-2 to the Blazers after Dame and CJ McCollum both went tremendously off last night, and let's start by reviewing what happened on January 22nd when the Damian Lillard-Westbrook feud got started.
I can't believe in the closing time.
Years.
Yeah, and then it turned into this.
Yeah. And then the busting kind of flipped that power dynamic. But Bo, as this feud proceeds, and this feud was so much of what was fun last night, what do you make of this individual one-on-one rivalry at this point?
Well, I mean, there's a juxtaposition between these two players that is kind of staggering, which is Dame Lillard, really good at shooting. Russell Westbrook, not so much, right? No. Now, since that has happened, by the way, the 29 points that Dame Lillard scored last night, those are the fewest he scored in 4 games since then. Like, apparently he took that personally anyway to turn this back around for Westbrook. But if Westbrook takes this as a personal rivalry, the Thunder will lose.
Yes, Russell Westbrook getting really animated, getting really energetic, and invested in a feud. We saw this happen, was it last year with Ricky Rubio? He got like 4 fouls in the first half when they were playing the Jazz. A stable Russell Westbrook is the best Russell Westbrook, but Damian Lillard, man, he is feeling himself, right? He is now 6 of 9 from 28 feet or further in this series. That's 3 times as many as Steph Curry has. So Dame Lillard right now is establishing that he wants to be regarded as better than the very, very talented and very angry Russell Westbrook.
Look, there was a sequence at the end of the third quarter, toward the end of the third quarter, where Russ came down and missed one. Dame clapped in his face. They come back the other way. Dame Lillard hit a shot from Eugene or wherever the hell he was standing. And right then and there, that was when this game was over. Like, the Thunder looked great coming into halftime. And then the second half, they just kept making shots and the Thunder just kept missing them. The thing for the Thunder is Paul George shoots over 20 shots. Russell Westbrook shoots over 20 shots. Somebody else has got to be out here getting shots. And they didn't have anybody else. I think Steven Adams took 8, but that's about it. Who else on that team can get a shot?
Right. Russell Westbrook does not shoot threes well, as you alluded to earlier. He is below 30% for 4 out of the last 5 years. And last night he was 1 for 6. And 1 for 6 sounds bad until you realize that that's a better percentage than the Thunder as a whole shot. And so you wonder, if you're a Giannis, you have all of these shooters around you. But if you're Westbrook, do you have the sort of team that can survive a night like that?
Yeah, but see, the thing that Giannis is going to have to deal with at some point is not just simply guys that can make shots. Do you have guys that can get shots? That's our question about Milwaukee. Do they have enough guys who can get their own shots? The reason why the Warriors could win 73 games and still need Kevin Durant, they didn't have enough guys who could get their own shots. The Thunder have 2 guys who can get their own shots, and one of them keeps getting shots he can't make. Right. Now, there, I don't know how you fix that problem, because as much as it's like, hey, Russ, can you chill out a little bit? Pass it to who?
Yes, Paul George has the busted up shoulder, and he was pretty good last night, but I don't believe that he's fully healthy. But you mentioned the Warriors as this North Star that people follow. The Blazers must feel like in Dame Lillard and CJ McCollum, by the way, McCollum had 33 and like 5 and 5 or something like that last night. They must feel like they have the beginnings of a winning formula.
Yeah, I mean, they've only felt like that for how many years?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Okay. His name is Jamal Murray. The Nuggets were down 19 with under 5 minutes to play in the third quarter last night, and Murray was 0 for 8. Then the man went off, hit 8 straight shots to seal the game. Pablo, did Murray single-handedly save the Nuggets season?
It wasn't single-handed because that starting lineup, 4 of those 5 guys, Will Barton was the only one who didn't crack 20 points. But this fourth quarter was transcendent. And that sounds like hyperbole, but it's not. In the last 5 years, he's had the most fourth quarter points of anybody in NBA playoff record. And so, yeah, him going 0 for 8 to start this game, Bo, and then going 8 for 9, so many of those shots contested, that is a real eye-opener for people who don't know what this guy can do.
Now, look, man, I watched the first half of this game, and what was striking was that the Spurs looked like they were so much better coached. The way they were moving the ball and the way that Denver looked when they were getting back the other way. Like, you were looking at Denver, as a lot of people were who didn't watch them play this much, like, how exactly did you guys get the number 2 seed? And you had to be well coached because you had all those injuries and you still got to where you were. Then the third quarter came midway and everything flipped in the other direction. It's rare that you see a tide turn in the way that it did. It didn't feel like the Spurs were just giving the game away. It just felt like the Nuggets were then coming back and taking it. And look, Murray, this is what, what's his name? Mike Malone, coach of the Nuggets. This is what he had to say about why he's stuck with Murray.
Yeah.
I didn't foresee the fourth quarter he was going to have, but I knew in my heart he needed to get these minutes. He needed to be out there. I needed to show him that I believed in him. That's powerful. If I pull him, does coach really believe in me? Does he have my back? So I had to stay with Jamal, make or miss, because he's our guy, and I care about him. And he came through in a big way, but never once did I think about pulling him from the lineup.
Now, I do think that's a big declaration, though, because that's saying to Murray, like, look, you are that guy. Like, you're not in a place where we're like, we can go get somebody else. Ain't no somebody else. It's you.
Right? No, and look, before they got back into the game behind Jamal Murray, they went on a little bit of a run, a 15-2 run behind the backup guards. And so the stakes of this, it really was a matter of Mike Malone saying, look, man, you need to do this, maybe not even for this year, but for all the years coming next. We rise and fall as a franchise based on whether you can be one of those 3 best players on a title team. Can you do this for us now?
But also, this is what, their second playoff series? Like, all these guys, just their second one?
Yeah, they're young. Last name is the Lakers. Because there are some in the organization, Bomani, who fear that hiring Ty Lue as the team's next coach, quote, would be giving LeBron too much control, according to Mark Stein of the New York Times. So is that a valid concern?
That's stupid. I mean, whether the valid concern or anything else, what that is, and this is what the Lakers are being exposed as right now. They're being exposed as a mom and pop business in a league that doesn't have mom and pop businesses anymore. What Jeannie Buss seems to be doing with the hires that she's made, it's all hiring people that she knows, people that she has some level of trust for, a distrust for outsiders. You can't treat LeBron like an outsider, and that seems to be what it is that they are doing. So if the only coaches that she's interested in are the ones that are on her Rolodex, then they're going to have big problems.
I empathize with where she is coming from because the Lakers are their business. They don't have other interests. This is what they make money on. But the question, as you imply, is important. Are you hiring the best people or are you hiring your people? And LeBron James at this point must be considered one of your people because there are 2 timelines that they can play with, right? One is LeBron's. You have 3 more years with him in which you have to empower him and make him the best LeBron he can be. The other one is one in which you go get a president of basketball operations and actually replace Magic Johnson because the guy in charge of LeBron right now is Rob Pelinka, who is Kobe's best friend.
Right, and I also get this, like, so, yeah, the idea, you don't want to give LeBron too much control. Who has earned this measure of control with the Lakers by anything other than inheritance? Like, who has demonstrated that they should have control over the direction of where this franchise is? In the end, hey, man, we have Lakers history that indicate they've done things in the past because the star player wanted to. They're going to say, we've seen coaches fired by the Lakers because the star player wanted the coach fired. That is how this has gone before. That wouldn't be anything new. You can't pass up the chance to hire a coach who has actually won a championship, who's been to the NBA Finals, 3 times? Because he's too cool with your best player?
No, Ty Lue is a pretty good coach. Now, he's not going to blow anybody away on paper, but look at the paper, man. There is a ring on there. And for Ty Lue, the thing that he got praised for and in trouble for is he spoke up to LeBron. Remember LeBron at one point unfollowed the Cavs on Twitter or Instagram or something because he was spoken to by Ty Lue and David Griffin. But the other thing, and this is where this reputation comes in as being his guy, enters, he said to LeBron, you're the offense, and Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love, guess what? You're following him. And if I have LeBron on my team, that may just be how we need to play basketball.
It's basically what Greg Popovich did for 20 years with Tim Duncan. The offense runs through Tim Duncan. The defense runs through Tim Duncan. This is how it goes. If it's going to be hey, we're going to show you in charge, as things stand right now, you, Lakers, have not made the playoffs in 6 years?
Yeah.
You're not bigger than LeBron right now. If your concern is that LeBron's going to think he's bigger than you, he did a lot more showing up here for you than you did vice versa. The least you could do is hire the best coach you can.
They've not only missed the playoffs for 6 years, they have the worst record in the NBA over those 6 years. And really the only question I have for Ty Lue is, or for the people around the Lakers is Ty Lue going to scare Kyrie Irving from wanting to show up? Because maybe that's a consideration, but barring that, go get LeBron his guy.
Or maybe just get the coach, right?
Somebody,
is there a championship coach out here? Yeah. Coming up next, Kawhi went off. They owe you some money?
Yeah, I don't think you're going to be seeing that money again.
It's like they're not good for it.
No, probably not.
Quote, Leonard was, great. What are you going to do? He was great. Said Magic coach Steve Clifford after Kawhi Leonard scored 37 points in a blowout Game 2 win for the Raptors. Meanwhile, Kyle Lowry bounced back from a scoreless Game 1 by scoring 22 last night. What was the bigger deal, what Kawhi did or what Lowry did?
I think we have to start with Kawhi because this is the big bad. Masai Ujiri destabilized the mentality and the psychology of Kyle Lowry in order to get him. And my God, was this guy good, Bo. He did everything defensively, offensively. He looked exactly like the MVP this team did not have.
Well, I mean, the Raptors were good with Kyle Lowry on the floor when he was scoreless in Game 1, right? So it's not as though him not scoring was not the full indication of what he did or did not provide in the course of that game. So it's better that he scores 22 points in this game, obviously. But that dude's been playing too long for me to be evaluating him on a game-to-game basis. But you hit it. Kawhi Leonard, this is what they didn't have before. What they had in DeMar DeRozan was a pretty good player. What they got in Kawhi Leonard is a top-notch player. What they got is an MVP caliber dude. The thing that they did not have before is a dude they can look at and say, all right, you take us to where we need to go. If you remember the last time we saw Kawhi Leonard in the playoffs, he showed that he was, in fact, that guy, and that's a huge change for Toronto.
And this is a guy they've managed rest and health-wise the whole regular season, and now we're seeing Kawhi Leonard unleashed. Meanwhile, though, do we have the video of Kyle Lowry being treated very delicately by Toronto because that guy was being encouraged?
Point man. And his first
But they know, Bo. They know that Kyle Lowry still misses his friend DeMar DeRozan, and he knows that, look.
Did you just really go there?
Oh, yes. I think everybody knows that was a real friendship. And so that guy, I don't know if he loves that guy, but I hope they do now. I really do.
Wow, you just turned this into, I get it. They friends. Man, that was about a year ago. These are grown-ups.
They rode like a scooter together at one point, I read. It was fun. Second quote. You guys ever wonder how I could play for another team after going through this? Ask John Wertheim on 60 Minutes to KD, Steph, Clay, Sean Livingston, and Andre Iguodala. Let's watch.
Serious question. You guys ever wonder, how could I play for another team after going through this?
Well, they don't know because they younger. They still got time. But, yeah, when you get older, you don't want to play for nobody else.
They're not going to get better than this.
That's somebody else recruiting me. Look, man, this has got to be the template.
Yo! Well, what do you make of the faces that we just spotlighted there?
I mean, those two dudes are free agents. This is an awkward question to be asking them. Even if Klay Thompson wants to come back, he ain't gonna make no money by saying that. Kevin Durant, on the other hand, like you ever look at this and be like, yo, do y'all want to do something else? Every day. Every day.
I wonder how they all agreed to do this, because this question really hits at the heart of the matter in ways that previous questions have not. And I don't even think that they were aware, Clay and KD, that they were making the same exact face and that the thought bubble above them very clearly said, yes, I wonder about this all the time.
Yeah, but I think their thought bubbles are different. I feel like Klay Thompson's just kind of like, my agent told me I got to act like this in order for us to get paid. And Kevin Durant is like, do I? When do I not?
It's also possible, in fairness to your point, that KD was like seething about this and Clay had the Homer Simpson imagining the black and white farm animals just playing instruments at the same time.
Yeah, also, I mean, Kevin Durant, did he even want to be there? Right,
where was Draymond, by the way?
That is the real question. Sean Livingston, Mama, they say I'm going to be on 60 Minutes. Don't ask me. Quote, I'm all for getting a guy that could add value to the team with me as the understood quarterback. Said Joe Flacco when asked about the Broncos drafting a quarterback with the 10th overall pick. Pablo, what's his answer say to you?
It says to me that Joe Flacco is delusional, and maybe delusional confidence is a quality you want in your quarterback. But is it a quality you want in a backup quarterback? That is the question that I think John Elway has.
Well, I mean, I don't think, no matter what, I think he is their starter for week 1, right? I think they see him as the early guy. At the very least, he is the starter right now. What I don't get is the idea that he thinks that everything has to be with him as the understood quarterback. What about going out here and winning the job, right? You don't have any guaranteed money in your deal. They got you in large part because they can get rid of you at any point. You ain't the understood nothing. You just some dude that got here. Did Elway tell you the story when you came in?
If you say I am fine with them drafting a quarterback at number 10 as long as I'm the understood quarterback. That's basically saying, I'm fine with them drafting a quarterback at number 10 as long as we treat him nothing like a quarterback we drafted at number 10.
But here's the other thing. He was the understood quarterback last year when they took a quarterback at 32.
32.
And then the dude came and took your job. Like, you are in that place in your career where if they draft a quarterback and you on the team, you either going to be giving him advice or you going to be giving it up.
And I really think Lamar Jackson is a promising young quarterback. But what is the thing that Lamar Jackson cannot do that Joe Flacco theoretically can do?
No, I mean, he's not the greatest thrower in the world as it stands right now. It's a bit overstated how bad he is, but Joe Flacco getting run out for that dude means your stock ain't high enough to be out here making demands.
Not at all.
Must be crazy. Coming up next, Russell Wilson getting clowned by his homeboys. Now the man's gonna almost die right here. Indians. Hey, yo. You got
Colin McHugh?
That's what his name is.
That is his name.
right.
He's alive.
Yeah, so look at this limbo he does on this, right? And what you can't tell from the angle, because at first I was thinking that's what you get for falling back towards the play, but look how the ball broke at the end.
Oh my Lord.
Right, he was doing it the right way, then he had to go back and do it the other way.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if this is like a Matrix thing or one of those like almost snuff videos we see out of Russia.
It's also the Astros, not the Indians. I have no idea. That's right, because I still don't remember that the Astros play in the American League.
American League. Today's number, $56,000. It's about how much Breanna Stewart was paid in base salary with the Seattle Storm last year during her MVP season, according to High Post Hoops. On Sunday, she tore her Achilles playing overseas for the Russian team Dynamo Kursk in the EuroLeague title game. So, Bo, what does this whole situation say to you?
I mean, first of all, I'm pretty sure that her playing for Dynamo, that is her real job. And that this thing she does when she's over here in the WNBA is the secondary job because the salary there is only $56,000. She's the MVP of the damn league and they're paying her $56,000, right? So what does this say to me? It's kind of wild, again, that American basketball players, no matter their gender, have to go overseas to really make money.
Yes, these oligarchs in Russia who want to fund women's basketball teams as a matter of personal interest are blowing the WNBA out of the water. And they're doing that, by the way, in China. Overseas in general is a way better scene. So if you want Breanna Stewart to get hurt on good old-fashioned American soil, yeah, pay her more money so she doesn't have to go do that like all the other stars also do, by the way.
No, you got like the way that we think of the NBA and like going to play in Europe, the WNBA is kind of the going to play in Europe of women's basketball.
Yes, we're the Euro League.
Right. Yeah, that's who we are. Like, that is what the place is that's there. And this is, I think, a thing that when the players argue about this, it's like, look, man, you can say that this league doesn't make money. Do you want to have a top-notch league or not? I think that people are operating on the basis of it's better to have the league than to not have the league. But I tell you, man, I read the business page. There's plenty of companies that take losses for their own reasons if they want to. Somebody can find the money to pay these women a wage such that your best players, if nothing else, don't have to go around the world to supplement their income.
Just for PR reasons. You can't have the MVP of the league making print journalist, reporter starting salary money. It's just a bad look, especially when you just do the math on what the men are making. And we know those are two different businesses completely, but just protect yourself and your own interests.
Ain't close. There we go.
Yeah.
One thing this show loves is the cultural exchange of the NBA. We usually celebrate that via things like dap and slang, but check out Serbia and Nikola Jokic apparently showing Gary Harris a trick he picked up in the old country. Now, I ain't never seen this before. Okay, I've seen this before. LaMarcus Aldridge out here committing a felony. There's Gary Harris looking for the police, can't find him. See, look at that. Jokic tells him a trick to do, and Gary Harris does it right there.
I love that. That is being a teammate. You just take whatever tactic was offered to you blindly and say, I'll try this out. Sure.
I'd say two things. One, I don't know if that's about being a teammate as much as that is about the blinding pain that makes you say, if you say that this will help, then what do I have to lose by trying? That being said, I feel like that would be the opposite of where my thoughts would go on what would feel good. You want me to clang them around?
Yeah, you just want to get some more movement going there. Urologically speaking, that doesn't make all the sense in the world. But I will say, doing some lesser version of the Sam Cassell dance is kind of an empowering thing, I suppose.
No, hey, dude, whatever it takes. Like, in that moment, thinking about that, I'm assuming you've been there before. What would you not be willing to try if they said it would make it work?
I would be probably crumpled up into a ball and hoping that a foul could be retroactively
assessed. If they told me this will all go away, you just got to watch the Bob Kraft tape. That's me right there. Me right there. Just trying to get what I need and get gone.
In closing, I'd like to revisit how Russell Wilson celebrated his massive new contract with the world. Let's watch.
Hey, Seattle.
Three
We got a deal.
chains.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks. But I'm going to see y'all in the morning.
Good night.
Time for y'all to go to bed.
Finally, we can go to sleep.
So that was them. Here is Tyler Lockett and DJ Fluker.
Hey, Seattle. We got a deal.
Go Hawks.
I gotta say, bright side for Russell Wilson is that they're telling jokes in front of him, which means that they don't find him to be entirely lame. They just think this is kind of cute.
But they also acknowledge that starting to talk like this after not talking like this for a long time is kind of conspicuous. And can you really get away with talking like this for a long time before people start making fun of you for it?
Yo, you ever met somebody that just turned up with an accent that they never had before? I used to know somebody who just out of nowhere, she turned up with a British accent. I was like, did you always talk like that? And then she like reaffirmed the British accent and was like, of course. I'm like, dog, this ain't possible.
But I thought there are some people with brain diseases who they wake up out of like comas and stuff, and they actually do speak in foreign accents. Maybe your friend, was she a friend? I don't know. Did she have that experience?
Did you just say Russell Wilson has a brain disease?